How are you all? Thank you for being here. Hey, Kid Kitty. Hey, Mandy TNT. Hey, ATS. I went between calling you Amber and then ATS. Hey, Woofy. Hey, Jordan. I know, me too. It's just a vibe. Hey, Cool Gamer. Jane Doe. Roxanne. Hey, Amelia. NT's Apple Bottom Jeans. Hey, MK. Okay, so you guys, a lot of people, this case was pretty big, back when it first started, when Dylan first went missing. I actually did not get it super into it, and I didn't cover it. Well, I've told you guys, I cannot cover something unless I'm interested, because I can't make myself learn about things that I have no interest in. And so I won't. And also, I'm a viewer too, right? Like, I don't just make videos, I watch videos, and I know nothing irks me more than watching someone do commentary on something that they're not watching. Like, for instance, people will do commentary on videos they're not watching. They'll tell their audience what happened in live streams that they didn't watch, or court cases they're not watching. Like, I'm not watching the trial, but this is what happened, stuff like that. It irks me. But today I was watching Nadine, and after I saw these court documents, I'm like, okay, now I'm interested. I want to cover this. We're going to start with that. I'm going to go back to the beginning because I have a lot of catching up to do too. But this is so interesting. The evidence that they have against this man, I do believe that it's pretty shocking. And we hear, like with Brian Laundrie, you start to hear the evidence they have against someone, and you'll start to see people say it's not enough, or I wouldn't convict. This right here, this is some pretty damning evidence. And I've never heard I can't wait to read this to you guys. So, hey, Amy, I haven't heard of this story, new to true crime. Well, Amy, awesome. Then we'll learn together, because I'm still pretty new to it too. Because after we go through the probable cause affidavit, I did find a statement from his mom that I was going to pull up. And then, after that, I just thought maybe we would dig in from the beginning. Hey, Truth Teller. I hope somebody kicks the crap out of this bastard to find out where Dylan's body is so he can be properly laid to rest. This is one I watched some on, and it's sad. This story didn't get the coverage it should have from the beginning. Oh my gosh, wait until y'all hear this. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and share it right now. Nadine, if you're not subscribed to East Idaho News' YouTube channel, go subscribe. If you're following this case, Lori Vallow, or they don't cover Idaho 4 as much because that's on the west side of Idaho, and there's other news, local news in that area. But Nadine is incredible. I love him so much. Hey, Chin Lu. Everyone better get my coffee on. Girl, you know what I'm drinking this morning? I usually drink soda for my caffeine. I like coffee too, but I like to drink that when I'm cold. I need iced coffee or soda, usually in the mornings. And I love Mellow Yellow, but yesterday I found strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper, and oh my God, y'all, it's really good. It's really, really good. It tastes like strawberries and cream. It's so good. Please help me understand how stupid this guy was to video himself. I know. I think that's what piqued my interest here. I'm just going to go ahead and then we'll talk about it. So it says court documents filed in the Dylan Rounds murder case contain new information about James Brenner, the alleged suspect, and why he is being charged with aggravated murder and abuse or desecration of a human body. Actually, what I'm going to do is we're going to start on this and then I'll go back. So this was the first story that they put out when James Brenner was arrested, which was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday evening. And it says, a man has been charged with the murder in the case of Dylan Rounds, a 20-year-old Eastern Idaho native who has been missing for 9 months. James Brenner is charged with 1 count of aggravated murder and 1 count of abuse or desecration of a human body. Charges were filed Friday by the Box Elder County Attorney's Office in Brigham City, Utah. Brenner has been in the Box Elder County Jail since being arrested on firearms violations in June. He was squatting on property near Dylan's farm when the young man disappeared. So I believe he has a record. He's not allowed to have guns. They searched his property because Dylan went missing. They found a gun, and he's been locked up ever since. Candace, Dylan's mom, says, Justin and I would like to thank everyone for the support you have shown us as we focus on finding answers in the disappearance of Dylan. James Brenner has been listed as the official suspect since July of 2022. The charges are based on solid evidence that has been released by Box Elder. We ask you to continue your thoughts and prayers for justice for Dylan and that we can bring him home. Dylan was farming in the desert town of Lucin, Utah, when he vanished over Memorial Day weekend. His grandmother spoke with him on May 28th, and nobody has heard from him since. There's been no sign of Dylan anywhere and no activity on his cell phone or bank account, according to his parents. Now, I did follow it loosely to where I knew he had his own farm, which was kind of odd for his age, right? And some of the details. And I know that his mom, she was very vocal, and she caught a lot of hell. It was actually disgusting the way that why do people treat victims' families like this? I just don't understand. But Dylan's mom, Candace, says that the body has not been found, but they remain optimistic. Now, okay, back to the court documents, just so that people who aren't following it get an idea. Hey, Melissa Jade. Mama Bear, I think he was 19 at the time, and now he would be 20. They didn't find him, Shyla. No, but listen to this. This is insane why they have arrested him. And like I said, a lot of people, they scrutinize the evidence in Alex Murdaugh trial. They scrutinize the evidence in the probable cause affidavit with Brian Kohberger. This evidence in this document, some of the stuff they have on this man, I don't see how you could ever explain it away. These fools kill me creating their own incriminating evidence. What's done in the dark always comes to light. Hey, trust no one. Okay, so the undersigned as prosecuting attorney states on information and belief that the above named defendant, James A. Brenner in Box Elder County, state of Utah, committed the following crimes. Count 1, aggravated murder, a first-degree felony in violation of Utah Code 765-202 as follows, that on or about May 28th, 2022, the defendant did intentionally or knowingly cause the death of another, and the defendant, the actor previously committed or was convicted of an offense committed in another jurisdiction, which if committed in this state would be a violation of a crime listed in subsection 1I or whatever. I'm going to just continue. Count number 2, abuse or desecration of a human body. It's a third-degree felony. It says on May 28th, the defendant did intentionally and unlawfully disturb, move, remove, conceal, or destroy a dead human body or any part of it. This information is based on evidence obtained from Detective Zachary Richard Moore. So here is the factual basis probable cause statement. It's not long, but it's a lot. So the 19-year-old victim was reported as a missing person on or about May 30th. Sheriff deputies, along with search and rescue crews, immediately got to work on efforts to locate the victim, but were unsuccessful. During the search, deputies discovered a pair of boots belonging to the victim nearby. One boot had a blood stain on it that DNA analysis confirmed belonged to the victim, in addition to DNA belonging to the defendant. So that right there piqued my interest immediately, because I was like, okay, so did he hurt himself in the struggle? The fact that they have their blood together, that is huge. Like, imagine if we heard they had Brian Kohberger's blood mixed in with Maddie's, which we may hear that. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, K-Braze. Hey, Amanda, Mama Bear. We may end up hearing that, but let me continue. So the victim's phone records were also obtained, which showed movements on the day of his disappearance on a remote property in Lucin where the defendant was squatting. Phone data showed that the last signal from Dylan's phone was at the Lucen Pond, and a search of the pond led to the discovery of the victim's phone. Now, Nate Eaton said they didn't report this, but they've known that for a while, that they found the phone in the lake. They were kind of told off their record, though. Then it says, a digital forensic download. Listen to this. A digital forensic download of the phone was conducted and led to the discovery of a time-lapse video with a timestamp taken at the time of the victim's disappearance. The video showed the defendant with blood stains on his arms and shirt as he is cleaning a gun. The shirt, which the defendant is wearing in the video, was analyzed, and the victim's DNA was found on the shirt. Defendant was interviewed and made several claims that corroborated forensic evidence, in addition to making numerous demonstrably false statements. Despite a thorough investigation and extensive search, the victim's body was not recovered due to the defendant removing and concealing it. Okay, so that is insane to me. They have video footage with a timestamp of the time that Dylan went missing. And on this video footage, you see the defendant cleaning a gun. He's got blood all over him. Who was taking this video? How did this happen? The mother always knew something was going on with that guy. You guys, that's crazy to me. I just got to know more about that. He's like in his 50s, Mama Bear, or I just read it, but I can't remember exactly. Hey, Carol. Hey, Shala. So you tell me how you get out of that kind of evidence there. That's pretty crazy. And also, it reminds me of Delphi, right? Like the girls take the video of him and... So was the defendant just a homeless man who lived in the woods and just watched Dylan have a lot of jealousy? I didn't get into this case as much, so I know really nothing. Mama Bear, we will learn together, but I believe he was staying in a trailer on the property. On the same property. Sounds like it was Dylan's phone, a time-lapse video. I know. Mel, what does that mean? Who took the video? That is crazy to me. Damn, that strawberries and cream. It really is like, so good. The state of Utah, the above-named defendant is summoned to appear before a judge for criminal homicide, aggravated murder, and abuse or desecration of a body. Take this summons with you to the jail. So let's see. His date of birth is 63. So he is 60 years old, right? Born December 2nd, 1963. Pretty crazy. I would love to know a time-lapse video. I'm going to read that to you guys one more time just because look, we had such a big probable cause affidavit with Brian Koberger. Yet the evidence is so much stronger in this one, and it's just one paragraph. Literally. That is crazy to me. Hey, Libs. Almost like Dylan took the video. If they found the phone in the pond, maybe they only got pieces of it. Well, I think there's definitely more we don't know. So Dylan was letting him stay on his property, on Dylan's property. Now, wasn't it his grandmother who bought the farm for Dylan? Wasn't it a guy that worked for the guy that owned it before, and Dylan's grandpa? All this property to start a farm, and the guy that was, yes, K-Braze, I think that is correct. But like I said, so I did not follow this like that. It's just today I started looking into the arrest of this guy, and when I read this, and I'm like, wow, that is shocking. That interests me. I want to, I love when they arrest somebody and they have evidence that they cannot get out of. And also, I'm happy for his mom. We've seen his mom get kind of tore apart. I'll have to read up on this case again. What would have been his motive? Well, I believe just kind of like they were saying, jealousy and anger. Now, there was also a lot of rumors as far as possible relationships happening and stuff. I think that will just, I don't know. You should read up on a truth teller. You can join me on one. We can, because I want to dig into it from the beginning. He probably, which is, it does happen like this. Like, think about the Watts case. You have people who were interested in it that knew about it from day one. Then you have people that heard about it when he confessed and when he pled guilty, or when he pled guilty. And then you have people who didn't even hear about it or get interested until the documentary. That is, one of us has a different past and different, story, and we all react to things differently. You know what I mean? They're saying Dylan was fed to the pigs and the pigs were eaten. Oh my God. Hey, SRB. Well, I did bring one. So we're going to go. I was looking for like a timeline just to get like a better idea. And I did find like there's a lot of Facebook groups. There is a lot of information out here. Before we move on, 19-year-old 30th, sheriff deputies, along with search and rescue crews, immediately got to work on efforts to locate the victim, but were unsuccessful. During the search, deputies discovered a pair of boots belonging to the victim nearby. Now, I remember this. That came out in the beginning, that there were boots there with what appeared to be blood. Now, as far as I know, this is the first that there's been confirmation that one boot, it says, had a blood stain that DNA analysis confirmed belonged to the victim, in addition to DNA belonging to the defendant. The victim's phone records were also obtained, which showed movements on the day of his disappearance on a remote property in Lucin where the defendant was squatting. Phone data showed that the last signal from the victim's phone was at a pond, and when they searched the pond, they found the victim's phone. A digital forensic download of the phone. This is the most interesting part of this one paragraph probable cause statement. A digital forensic download of the phone was conducted and led to the discovery of a time-lapse video. That is so interesting to me. Why time-lapse? Like, who filmed? Oh, I don't know. A time-lapse video with a timestamp taken at the time of the victim's disappearance. The video showed defendant with bloodstains on his arm and shirt as he is cleaning a gun. The shirt was analyzed. So they went and found that exact shirt, and it was Dylan's DNA on the shirt. So we can assume that it was also his blood on his arms. Defendant was interviewed and made several claims that corroborated forensic evidence, in addition to making numerous demonstrably false statements. Despite a thorough investigation and extensive search, the victim's body was not recovered due to the defendant removing and concealing it. His mom said something major was about to break in Dylan's case. Hey, Shabanae, I watched him for quite a while, but had to stop in the last few months. Let me go up and see what you're talking about. Hey, Barbie D, that's okay. Me too. We knew there was blood on the boots, but we didn't know whose blood it was. That's what I thought, because I remember that. That PI guy that got fired is a guy I watch. It was going around that Dylan gave him a ride. Okay. Let me pull up the statement from his mom that I had. Like, this is... This is when she... Okay, so he hadn't been missing for long, and she was wanting more help, is kind of the way I take it, but... She has been his biggest advocate. Really. she's asking, please accept this letter as a request to have the Dylan Rounds missing person investigation be turned over to the state of Utah and the FBI. Foul play has been identified and a suspect in Dylan Rounds' disappearance. She said that he's been a suspect since July of 2022. A suspect in Dylan Rounds' disappearance is currently in custody on unrelated gun charges. While state law enforcement agencies are not subordinate to the FBI, the investigative resource of the FBI can be used in a common effort to investigate and solve cases. My 19-year-old son, Dylan Rounds, was reported missing from Lucin, Utah on May 30th. Please see timeline of events, which that is what... Oh my gosh. Hold on a sec, you guys. Oh my God, I'm so annoyed because I sent 2 other things over, a timeline, and then there was an article I found that was 5 things you need to know about Dylan, and both of them didn't go through. So hold on, let me try to pull them up. There's the 5 fast facts. And then here's the 5 fast facts. Let me just switch to this one. I'm sorry, you guys. This annoys me. It's this happens to me often that I send something through and it doesn't come through. He also burned some property. Yeah, a time-lapse video option to film a time-lapse video, but I don't really know how. I remember actually talking with you about it, Amber, about tie-dye, trying to do that for tie-dye, but it is an option on the iPhone. Agree, Mystic. Thank God his mom kept it alive. I don't know this case, if honest. Peach, well, good. Well, we're digging into it from the beginning because I didn't follow it like that either. What really interested me and brought it on was this arrest and kind of the evidence that they have. Hey, Riddler. I've been suspicious of Brenner from the beginning. I know a lot of people have. And even if you go back and look, I was looking at East Idaho News had an article from last fall that there's yeah, he's still the main suspect. That was a common theme. People knew that it was likely him. They just couldn't prove it. Dylan Rounds, 5 fast facts you need to know. Dylan Rounds is a missing Utah farmer whose family has offered a large reward after he vanished into thin air in May of 2022. A suspect, Rounds' neighbor, was named by authorities in July, according to the Jefferson Star. James Brenner, 58, is in charges, the newspaper reports. According to ABC4, Rounds' family is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to his whereabouts. Rounds, 19, operated a farm near the town of Lucin in western Box Elder County in Utah, according to the television station. According to the Jefferson Star, Brenner was named as a suspect in Rounds' disappearance in court documents filed in connection to the federal charges. Here's what you need to know. Hold on one sec, you guys. Hey, I'm live. Let me call you back. Okay, bye. Sorry. Rounds, who vanished after a phone call, was described as a true American farmer. So here's a post from his mom on Facebook. It says, "We would like to help everyone better understand who Dylan is. Please browse through these pictures and you see, since Dylan was little, he has been a farmer. It was his passion. From the time he could walk, he would try to keep up with his dad and grandpa." That is so sweet. Dylan could drive a tractor by himself before most kids could ride a bike. From as early as 10 years old, he was growing pumpkin patches and sweet corn to sell. The Rigby community knew every summer there would be Dylan's sweet corn for sale under the county line overpass. Please, if you have pictures of Dylan working with you, share. Dylan is a true American farmer born in a generation that does not understand. Let's help show him to the world. That's so sweet. I grew up on a farm too, and like my grandpa was basically the one in charge of everything, but my brothers would also help, and I don't know, it's just sweet. Hey, Prince. Hey, I'm live. Let me call you back. I didn't know how to say that. It was my mom. I'm at her house downstairs, but wonder if Brenner will have the decency to tell where his body is. Well, I mean, I wonder. Now he knows. He's caught red-handed. There is video footage of him with the blood still on him. Hey, Catherine. Welcome. I hate this didn't get coverage. Well, it might now. It might get more now as things develop. Okay. She wrote, which we just read that. Let's help show him to the world. According to the Elko County Sheriff's Office, the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office has jurisdiction in the case. Dylan was, in fact, seen in Montello before his disappearance on the 26th of May, not the 27th as reported on social media. Montello is in Nevada. He ate at a local establishment there and then returned to Utah. Cell phone data was used to track Dylan's phone around his farm near Lucin, Utah. Rounds then made a phone call to a family member on the 28th. Wasn't that his grandma or something, you guys? Because I remember he talked to his grandma. On the 28th at 6:51 a.m., we can confirm that phone call was made from the farm based off the cell data. The last cell phone data communication from Dylan's phone was on the 28th of May near his farm in Box Elder County. According to the release, Dylan disappeared sometime after he made that phone call. Based upon the information above, jurisdiction for this case is retained by Utah law enforcement. The department was first notified of the case on May 31st. When they responded to Montello on a call that someone was being held hostage. They searched a residence with the consent of the owner. The release does not provide additional details about the hostage angle. 2, more than 3,000. Wait, let me see if you guys say if that was grandma. It was grandma. Okay. Thank you. The farm is in Utah. It's confusing, especially I've never been out. I don't know. I'm bad with direction and I've never been out west. But he told his grandma he had to get the feed truck in the shed because it was getting ready to rain and he didn't want to lose it all, but the gate was locked. Hey, Marcia. Oh, Marcia, if you just came in, you probably definitely on this one want to rewind after and hear the probable cause affidavit because the evidence they have is pretty crazy. So more than 3,000 miles have been searched to find Rounds, who was described as strong-headed and passionate. His mom described him as one of the best 19-year-olds, hardworking, passionate, and strong-headed. The Elder County Sheriff's Office is making continual efforts to locate Dylan. It's an active law enforcement missing person investigation. They've logged over 300 hours. This is old. At that time, over 3,000 miles. And detectives have worked for over 650 hours. A private investigator named Jason Jensen told ABC4, something of a foul play has happened to Dylan. He was excited to be farming there. His crop was about to come to fruition for the first time. Oh my God, that's sad. So he was excited. A post on the Facebook group devoted to finding Rounds says, "My heart feels heavy after helping in the physical search for Dylan Rounds. Hundreds of places have been searched. Our razor saw over 130 miles in 2 days. We hiked to a cave, looked in mine shafts, studied ravines, abandoned buildings, and trailers. We saw rain, wind, and a lot of dust. Many, many people came together to search." So then number 3 is about the boots, which now we found out today that it was blood on the boots, and whose blood that was. It says a few clues have a few clues have emerged. ABC4 reported that his family found his truck on Memorial Day and it had not been moved, but oddly, it had been power washed. His boots were found a short distance from the farm property and they're now being analyzed. The boots were located behind a dirt pile 100 yards from where his grain truck was parked. His mother is frustrated. She says stuff like this doesn't happen without people knowing. They're just not talking. Somebody tell us something. Can you imagine? I forgot about this. There was a strange incident with a bloody man before Rounds disappeared. According to ABC4, there was a strange incident before Rounds disappeared. A bloodied man asked him for a ride days before his disappearance. But his mother told the television station she doesn't think the man has anything to do with it. According to ABC4, he's a fugitive from Montana who's being held on unrelated charges. But Local News 8 provided the details about this encounter. Round's mother said he told her a bloody man who was walking on foot came up out of the desert. He wanted a ride, but Round's family initially believed that Rounds didn't give him one, the station reported. However, the family figured out the man's identity. The television station gave his name as Chase and said he contacted the family to say Rounds did actually give him a ride. The conversation lessened the family's suspicions, the television station reported. And then number 5, Dylan's mom insists he did not walk into the desert and disappear. She said he always had dreams of owning a farm, and he purchased land in Box Elder County, Utah, and set out to do so. He was living on the farm when he vanished. It is with an extremely heavy heart we are posting about this update. She says we have still yet to locate Dylan or any sign of him. We have had an amazing amount of support in our search efforts, both on ground. Not walk into the desert and disappear. His farm and everything he's worked for is out there, and someone knows something. I am pleading for someone to come forward with information regarding what has happened to Dylan. She wrote on Facebook, "We would like you to pay attention to his patterns I've been explaining throughout these pictures. Boots, hats, sweatshirts. Always working, very few of him doing something people consider fun. Work was his idea of fun. Every summer he would insist he planted my flowers because, of course, I did not do it right." Oh my God, that is so sad. He sounds like such a good kid. I mean, what kind of 19-year-old has that kind of work ethic these days, you guys? Okay, let me check on your comments. Aiden Clune is the other, was 19 years old that went missing close to where Dylan was. Brenner buried that kid with a backhoe about 8 to 10 feet deep. Wait, so I'm confused. Yeah, he lied and told everybody he didn't give him a ride, but he did. Interesting. He drove that truck too. He was trying to beat the rain that night because of his truck, and seed got wet. It was ruined. Oh my gosh, you guys. I followed some of the searches for him by YouTube content creators. I feel if it was not for Mom, they wouldn't have what they do. Well, wow. I mean, it's crazy that they basically used his cell phone, right? And located it near that pond, used that. They were able to, after it sat in water for however long, still get video footage off of it that is going to be what I'm sorry. How do you explain it? How do you explain that away? Not only is your blood mixed with Dylan's blood on his boots, there's no explanation for that, but you are seen on a video with blood all over your shirt and your arms cleaning a gun. And they find the shirt and it's his blood. No, I don't see how you, I'm sorry, but that's some pretty damning evidence, you guys. Yes, Princess Megan Elsa. He did. So let me see if I've still got it up and I could just go right back to it. Nady and said like they were aware about the phone, but they hadn't released that yet. Let's see if we can just play this video. This is the video I watched this morning. I actually shared it on my community page. I thought it was going to be like the local news. Let me see if I can just pull up YouTube really fast and get the news. I love Nady, and I think he's an excellent reporter. He really is. And I don't know. Today on this video, his kids came in. I just think that I liked it. Okay, let me see. What was that? Like the human hunting. Remember? Like the human hunting stuff?
Sick of having issues with your webinar? Wasting tons of time on troubleshooting with attendees? If so,
today. Just got off the phone with hey everyone, good evening to you. I just wanted to come in here really quick and let you know there is some breaking news in the Dylan Rounds case. James Brenner, the man who was squatting on property near Dylan's farm out in Lucin, Utah, was charged today with murder, aggravated murder, and desecration of a body. Both of those are felonies in the state of Utah, where he has been in the Box Elder County Jail for quite some time, since the summertime. And officials officially charged him with aggravated murder today. Just got off the phone with Dylan's mom, Candace. She sent a statement. I believe home. I hope that went through. If not, we have the full statement on eastidahonews.com. I just posted a story. So Brenner has been the key suspect in all of this. And he has a pretty violent history. We don't know the details surrounding what led to this, the alleged crime. But we do know that Dylan has not been found. His body has not been recovered. So that is a key part of this case that still needs to be solved. But with these charges being filed, police must be pretty sure that they have the evidence they need, or at least the prosecutor in Box Elder County, Utah. So we have a story again on the East Idaho News. I'm actually out with my family, but I wanted to come on here and let you know that we are aware of the story. We have put it up. Candace, I think it's a sense of relief for her and her family, and they have been wanted me to pass along their thanks to you.
Okay, you guys. So I pulled up some stuff on James Brenner, but first I'm going to go back just for a second to the probable cause affidavit, because Amber said you stepped away for a minute. So we don't know who recorded it. This is all it says. It's only one paragraph, but there's a lot in it. So it says, let me see. During the search, they discovered a pair of boots. One had a blood stain that DNA confirmed to belong to the victim and the defendant. The phone records were obtained, which shows his last location was this pond, the Lucin Pond. The search of the pond led to the discovery of his phone. I can't believe they were able to do a digital forensic download of the phone after it set in water, but they were. And it led to the discovery of a time-lapse video with the timestamp taken at the time of the victim's disappearance. The video showed defendant with bloodstains on his arms and shirt as he is cleaning a gun. The shirt which defendant is wearing was analyzed, and it is the victim's DNA on the shirt. The defendant was interviewed, made several claims that corroborated the forensic evidence, and the victim's body has not been recovered due to the defendant removing and concealing it. So we don't know who took the video. That's that's kind of up in the air, and I would love to know the answer of that. And put his phone in his, no, Mama Bear, it's not just you. That's like the reason that I wanted to do this live, because I watched Nate Eaton's video this morning on the case, and he read through this, and I was like, what? Like, it just really piqued my interest. Here, we're going to skip over to this now. This is James Brenner, Dylan's round suspect, 5 fast facts you need to know. James Brenner is a Utah felon who has been named as a suspect in the disappearance. So this was written back in August of last year. Brenner is Round's neighbor who was named by authorities in July. James Brenner, 58, is in federal custody on firearms charges. So when he became suspicious to them, they searched his house. He had a gun. He's a felon. He got locked up for that. According to ABC4, Round's family is offering $100,000, to lead to where Dylan is at. Brenner was named as a suspect in court documents. Here's what you need to know. Brenner was squatting on land near Round's farm, authorities say. The affidavit for federal criminal complaint makes it clear that Brenner is a suspect in Round's disappearance, although it mentions Round's only by initials. It charges Brenner with being a felon in possession of a firearm on or around June 8th. I'd like to see the paperwork. We can see it clicking here. It says on May 30th, Box Elder County Dispatch received a call of a missing 19-year-old, male initials DR. He was last seen in Lucin, Utah area. On this day, Dylan contacted a relative by phone and told him he was putting the grain truck into shelter. According to the affidavit, the shelter for the grain truck was reported to be on a parcel of land owned by Box Elder Land and Livestock and is adjacent to 2 other parcels that are owned by SH and RI. These parcels are open to each other and collectively used together. Brenner had no ownership in the land parcels mentioned and is squatting in a trailer located on the land. The 19-year-old's property is a 5-mile walk towards the southeast of where Brenner is currently living. Brenner they said, was interviewed by authorities. Authorities have provided a timeline of his last known activities. Here we go. Dylan was, in fact, seen in Montello before his disappearance. It's located in Nevada. He ate at a local establishment there and returned to Utah. Rounds then made a phone call to a family member at 6:51. We can confirm that call was made from the farm. According to the release, Dylan disappeared sometime after he made that phone call. The department was first notified of the case on May 31st, and that's the held hostage. They first responded to someone being held hostage, and there's no more information on that. According to the affidavit, Brenner and another Lucin resident were considered family friends of Dylan Rounds and his family. On June 16th, the sheriff's office, with assistance of the FBI, executed a search warrant at the trailer where Brenner was living. During that search, ball ammunition, ignition caps, black powder, and speed loads, all related to muzzle loading, were located and photographed in the trailer, but the items were not seized at the time. There were no muzzle loader firearms located in the trailer at the time. Oh, so they just found he was actually making his own bullets and stuff because he had the black powder. I don't know. That's the way I understand that, but I could be wrong. It says, a friend and neighbor of Brenner, D.H., was interviewed by the sheriff's office. He advised that after Dylan went missing and sometime after Brenner's initial interview with the sheriff's office, Brenner brought 3 black powder guns over to D.H.'s residence and asked him to safekeep them. When D.H. asked why, Brenner stated that he needed to do this for his own safety and that the last time he had trouble with the law, they took everything from him and he did not want things he had left to be taken again. Them over to the sheriff's office, who booked them into evidence. On June 21st, he was interviewed again, and during this interview, he advised that Brenner also brought him a .22 caliber rifle. At the same time, he brought the muzzle loaders. He didn't mention the rifle to us previously because he had been owed money by the rifle's original owner and that he felt he should have a claim over the .22 rifle that Brenner asked him to store to cover the debt. The affidavit further alleges he explained to us that the rifle had been left in the trailer on the property where Brenner had been living, prior to Brenner living there, by a person who owed D.H. money. Brenner, upon moving into the trailer, took possession of it. D.H. knew that Brenner wasn't allowed to have firearms because of his criminal history. It had 5 rounds of .22 caliber ammunition. No serial number was located. But if they do find Dylan, if he was killed by a gun, I mean, let's just say that that's where our minds might naturally go because he's covered in blood cleaning a gun. They will be able to tell, by the bullet, the way that it's recovered, if they have these guns, if that was one of the guns that shot him. Because guns leave individual marks that are specific to only that gun on a bullet when the bullet is fired out of the gun. So if they find a bullet in Dylan with these specific marks, and then they have the gun there and they can test fire it and see what the bullets that come out of that gun look like, and if they have the same markings, that's how they line them up, On June 21st, another search warrant was conducted, and at this time, the sheriff's office seized a muzzleloader. He had a box of .45 caliber ammunition, 1 box of spear lead ball, 1 box of .45 lead ball ammunition, ignition caps, black powder. Okay, so did he have a .45 caliber weapon as well? Brenner was previously convicted of felonies, including a gun charge. He has a criminal history. He did 33 months in prison for a felon in possession of a firearm. His criminal history includes malicious wounding, malicious shooting. Oh my God, now that is scary. A public safety assessment report for James Brenner. Oh my God. According to East Idaho News, more details came out at his detention hearing on the gun charge. The site reports that he has an outstanding warrant from Box Elder County where he allegedly beat up a man using a lawn chair, and he also served time for attempted murder. Oh, he has a lengthy history of violence, said Deputy U.S. Attorney Carlos Escueda at that hearing. He had a shootout before. He has a history of shooting at people, and despite that, he's a convicted felon and continues to carry firearms. Oh my God, you guys. Black powder guns or propellants are not prohibited for people with felonies because they are classified as antiques. The .22 and the ammunition for that is what got him the charges. Thank you, MK. Can they do that with the Russell? I don't know, cray. But the .22 and the .45. Mama bear. Okay. This has a lot of information that I didn't know about, so I'm glad that I found this article. He countered that the attempted murder charge was 30 years ago and dropped to a malicious shooting. He had 2 gun violations over the past 30 years. He was denied bail. In contrast, Round's life was devoted to farming. I mean, think about the difference between this man, this old man who's known for being violent, has had attempted murder charges, malicious wounding. He shoots at people, without good reason. And then we have this 19-year-old kid who literally is just a great kid who just wants to work and make a living for himself and really enjoys the work that he does. That is so sad. So Candace, Dylan's mom, this is something from her Facebook. She says, you see, since Dylan was little, he's been a farmer. It was his passion. From the time he could walk, he would try to keep up with his dad and grandpa. Dylan could drive a tractor by himself before most kids could ride a bike. From as early as 10 years old, he was growing pumpkin patches and sweet corn to sell. The Rigby community knew every summer there would be Dylan's sweet corn for sale under the county line overpass. Please, if you have pictures of him, share. This is the same as what we read earlier. Dylan is a true American farmer, born in a generation that does not understand. Oh, my God. The thought of him, Dylan sweet corn, standing out there selling it as a little kid, that is so cute. Brenner helped on the farm of Rounds, who was described as strong-headed and passionate. So Candace describes him as one of the best 19-year-olds, hardworking, passionate, and strong-headed. She says Brenner often helped her son at his farm. The sheriff's office says they're making continual efforts to locate Dylan. There's an active law enforcement missing person criminal investigation. They talk about the hours that they've logged. So Jason Jensen, a private investigator, we've already read that. Something of foul play has happened to Dylan. He was excited to be farming there. His crop was about to come to fruition for the first time. So he was excited. His boots were located, which we know that. Let's see what it says here about them, though. I just want to see kind of what was said. It says his boots were found a short distance from the farm property, and they're now being analyzed. It looked like they were just tossed out there. The boots were located behind a dirt pile 100 yards from where his grain truck was parked. Stuff like this doesn't happen without people knowing. Then they talk about the bloodied man who wanted the ride. Okay. So when I Googled who is James Brenner, look what came up. It says Utah felon. James Brenner is a Utah felon who's been named as a suspect in the disappearance. Here it says Brenner is who's been named the same thing from Heavy News. Just looking to see if there's anything else that I want to look at. East Idaho News, like on their website, they actually have a whole entire folder for like Daybell. I'll show you guys here in a second, actually. Let me just check on you in the chat. Hey, Humanimal. It is amazing news. And not only that, but the evidence they have against him seems like it's going to be tough to fight. It really does. Hey, Ava. I don't know what you're talking about, Woofy. Okay, let me see. This was back in October. His parents did an interview, says sharing new details about their missing son's boots, phone, pistol, and more. They do name 2 people who are suspects. James Brenner is one of them in this article. The other one is Chase Venstra. Is that the bloodied man? Yes, I think so. Brenner has admitted he's the one who took the boots out there. Candace Cooley says in an interview, he said he found them by the shed, picked them up, and moved them by his camper somewhere, and then decided Dylan wasn't coming back for them. I didn't know that either. Nobody came forward to claim the reward because Brenner committed this crime, cleaned it up, disposed of Dylan all by himself. He had plenty of privacy and time to do it. Wow, you guys. Well, now we're going to be covering it on over here, all the details. I'm going to go back and see if there's things that we missed we need to go over. It says, these boots were not in that desert during a rainstorm on Friday. They didn't even have dust or mud on them, Cooley explains. I bet you Brenner put them there on Monday, 2 days after Dylan vanished, when he knew we were coming out and he had to get rid of them. In addition to learning about the boots, Dylan's parents say pings on their son's cell phone show it never left his property the day he was vanished. Right after the last phone call to my mother, Dylan called Jim Brenner. Round said. Then he went up to Jim Brenner's, the phone did, and was around there for a while. Then it went back to Dylan's place and then went back to Jim Brenner's. Then, according to Rounds and Cooley, Brenner stopped by the pond on his way to a friend's for lunch. Oh, so East Idaho actually did report that the phone was in the pond. It says he placed himself at the pond the day Dylan disappeared, and Dylan's phone was found in the pond. Because this morning on Nate Eaton's video, he said that he didn't think they had reported it because he thought it was told to them off the record. Cooley and Rounds say they're also worried about someone entering Dylan's trailer after he disappeared and placing one of his guns along with a key fob inside. So there's a picture of where his truck and the trailer were parked. When his parents visited the property on Monday, they searched his camp trailer looking for his pistol. Justin and I both walked in the camper, that's his dad, and went through it all. On his bathroom sink was his gun case. There was no gun in it. We opened the medicine cabinet, nothing. The next day, Justin's sister cleaned out the bathroom for Dylan's grandma to use, no gun. The next day, the pistol was lying there with the clip out of it in broad daylight where we had all looked. The following day, the parents said they returned to the trailer and the truck key fob was placed in the same location as the gun. They were wiped down and police were unable to get any fingerprints. Wow. They came back and were put back under our noses. Activity at the shed. The parents say one point of interest was a shed near Brenner's camper. Brenner pulled the grain truck out on his own and cleaned it. He was cleaning the shed with law enforcement and us there watching him. Cooley says, I saw him take out 4 garbage bags and put them in the back of his pickup. Wow. Cooley and Rounds said the shed was full of trash and empty beer cans. He wasn't cleaning up garbage that day. Whatever he took out of those bags was to hide right under law enforcement noses. So this is where James Brenner's camper was, and Dylan's boots were over here. Wow. I love to be able to see pictures like this. I'm able to see things so much better. Hey, Nora's grandma. No, Marcia, his body was not found. So the murder charges are based on this. They found, when they recovered his phone from the pond and they did a forensic investigation on it, they found a video which shows the suspect, James Brenner, covered in blood and cleaning a gun. It's a time-lapse video, they said. And they recovered the shirt that he's wearing in the video, and it was Dylan's DNA. So that is... wow. The boots had both Brenner's DNA and Dylan's on them. I don't know if the DNA from Brenner was from blood, sweat, or other. Not sure why his blood would be on them unless there was a fight. Yep, exactly. I know, Nora's grandma. That is so true. I pray he's found as well. I agree, Mama Bear. Very damning evidence. I mean, this is like much more damning than a lot of the cases we've seen recently. The parents are frustrated. Brenner was not taken into custody that day as he was wanted on an outstanding criminal warrant. Rather, he was arrested weeks later, and he hadn't been charged yet at this point in the disappearance of Dylan. How can you say they've done their job when they didn't arrest the felon on day one? Cooley asked. When the key fob was found, when the gun was found, when the boots were found, they literally laughed at us and mocked us in that desert. In a statement to East Idaho News, the sheriff's office says, Department of Public Safety, Weber County Sheriff's Office, and Weber County Attorney's Office investigators reviewed the investigative work that has been done. They established credibility in the Box Elder County Sheriff's Office investigation with substantial and pertinent evidence, locating Dylan Rounds, protecting the integrity of the investigation, and our ability to impose criminal responsibility among anyone involved are our utmost priorities. Palmer says evidence supports that a homicide occurred, but declined to answer specific questions about the boots, key fob, pistol, and shed. He said, please keep in mind anyone that publicly releases specific information related to this active case could negatively impact our ability to successfully prosecute any individuals associated with his disappearance. It says, what's next? Candace says, my mom called Brenner out on some things about the gun, the key fob, the boots in the shed, and he said, well, I can't talk to you anymore. You're going to have to talk to my lawyer, Brown said. The family says they are sharing this information so it will lead to answers. So the family is the one who shared a lot of this info, and it looks like police were not happy with it, which is why they put that, please keep in mind anyone that publicly releases information. And we see this often. Family members get frustrated. These investigations take a long time, and they start sitting there with no evidence, and you can't blame them. Oh my God, Marcia, that's crazy. I'm so sorry. And she says, my uncle died in the ocean because he was wearing boots. Once they filled with water, you're as heavy as cement blocks. I knew when they found his boots, things were not going to be good. Things were not going to be not good. Can't put shoes on a dead body. It will lift up. Well, you guys, what do you want to maybe go over? Not today. We're done today. I'm just wrapping up with you guys and chatting for a second. Ooh, Elizabeth, no, I haven't seen that. Do you want to maybe, what could we go over next with this? I need to watch the parents' interviews. Maybe we could watch them together. You guys let me know if you have any ideas, because I'm definitely now very interested and want to follow this through. If you missed the live last night on Real Talk with Alex, that's my second channel. It's for anything that's not true crime. It might be my own personal angers and, my own personal life bullshit. It might be YouTube bullshit. It might be conspiracies. It might be fashion. It might be makeup. It might be crafting. Everything is over there, just everything. But last night, Melissa Jade came over and we did a live on UFOs and aliens, and we watched some of the world's craziest videos that really, some of them, there is no explanation for anything else but, something like that. I don't know. If you missed it, go back and watch it because it was really fun. Tonight, I think that I'm going to be on Decipher podcast just for part of their show to talk about Alex Murdaugh, his addiction. Kind of, if you heard his sentencing, the judge kind of says, basically, maybe it wasn't you and it was who the drugs turned you into. And they want to get my perspective on that. And also the amount of drugs that he claims he was doing and that kind of stuff. Oh, thank you, Amelia. Thank you, Alibi. Should check out the terrain they had to search. It was nuts. Exploring with Nug was out there along with other land searchers. Ooh, I definitely will. Yes, Mama Bear, we will. And thank you. It was fun. Oh, thank you, Alibi. It's fun. It was sheet lifting. It's fun to just sit back and hang out with you guys sometimes and talk about stuff that is not so serious. Especially like those videos of like the abductions, like that lady under the sheet and stuff. That scares me. I don't like that. Amber, you covered Dylan's case, right? I know Teresa, I think Teresa did as well. So if you guys want more information on the case, go over to their channels, ATS News and Criminality. Oh, you're so welcome, Shyla. Thank you for being here. All right, you guys, I have family coming today, and then I have a special guest coming tomorrow. And we have a big week. I have big things planned next week with very important, with a case that I've been on for a long time. So I'm really looking forward to that. Maybe I'll get to tell you guys about it soon. Yeah, it is a rabbit hole. All right. Well, you guys have a good day. It's really nice here today. I hope y'all have weather like this. It's like 70 some degrees, sunny, beautiful. So thank you, Roxanne. Yeah, I think that's it. Yes, Mama Bear, you should definitely, because I know anything either one of them put out is going to be very good. Oh, thank you, MK. Thank you. Hey, Johnny, and thank you for being here. All right. I love you guys. Have a great day. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to the chat. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.